Hey there, my friend. It's Alexandra Harbushka here, founder of Money, Motherhood, Manifestation podcast. I'm excited to be back with you. And we're going to do something really powerful today. We're going to talk about rapid manifestation. So a lot of times we're like, oh, I have this idea. Why is it not happening? Or it's taking so long. Or what is this idea of rapid manifestation? So I have 3 powerful tools. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to get there. But first, let's get into manifestation. What is it? It's the result of your thoughts and actions and words that have materialized into a tangible object. So if you think it, it'll become it. So we're manifesting all the time. So we don't always realize that we're manifesting. You might think oh, well, how do I start? No, you've been doing it your whole life. You have a certain select beliefs, thoughts, actions, words that you speak that then manifest into something. So right now, if you're like, well, no, I've never manifested, Alexandra, what are you talking about? Yes, you have. So right now, I want you to think of something that you've maybe manifested in your life. This is a great way to kind of just start the wheels turning. And I want to tell you a story, an example of something that just popped in my mind with manifestation. So this was years and years ago. I needed a new car. And it was time for the new car. And so I was shopping for a new car. I always go with my dad. Even now I go with my dad, but, I of course took my dad, and we were at BMW, and I really wanted a BMW. And the car that I of course wanted was the BMW 650i convertible. And it was the one that was in the showroom. It was the white bottom with the brown convertible top. This would have been my ultimate dream car. This is what I want, but that was way out of my price range at that time. It was $100,000 at that time, and absolutely not at all. It was just not even an option for me. That was nowhere near what I could do at that time. And so I ended up going with an Infiniti, not at all what I got. But years later, I got that car. And I want to share how I got that car. It showed up in my driveway, showed up in my house. My husband actually drove that car. And I had no idea when I was shopping for that car years before that was his car. And it's funny, when I met him, he had that car, obviously. And I was like, oh, but I never put 2 and 2 together. So he ended up giving me that car, which was the exact same car that I saw in the showroom probably 5 years before. And so my point is, I manifested that car. That day I was at BMW, I manifested that 650i convertible. And it was a fun car, let me tell you. But I manifested. Now I could have sat there and said, okay, this is how I'm going to get the car. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to save my money. I'm going to put an investment fund together. And I just unknowingly manifested that car and showed up, right? My husband gave me his car. He got a new car, and there we go. So that's an example of how manifestation works. And I just think it's so interesting that when we think back about things like I wanted that car, or I wanted that house, or that was my husband, or that's the man I'm going to marry, or that whatever it is, it just happens. So my job here to the point of this episode, the point I want to talk about is focusing on mindset and energy work and diving deep into our neural network and remove the blocks, or basically just have personal growth here around money, around whatever you're trying to rewire. So specifically, I'm talking about business growth and money growth, but this can be used on anything. Obviously, we're talking about a car in the last one. So let's talk about quantum jumping, if that's something you've maybe heard out there, or rapid manifestation. These are some other words that we can use. So Albert Einstein laid the foundation for the theory of relativity. So this is it describes how space and time are interconnected, forming the fabric known as space-time. He's also known for a famous quote: "God does not play dice with the universe," expressing that his skepticism about the randomness in quantum mechanics. So the quantum mechanics offers framework for the idea of parallel universes. Okay. So This interpretation suggests that every quantum event leads to multiple outcomes, each occurring in separate or parallel universes. So this is what's also called the scientific theory of parallel universes. There's a theory that you have many different versions of yourself or versions of you, meaning that they are all unlimited realities playing out. So the idea of multiple universes often refers to the multi-universe theory, can seem challenging to reconcile. So this might be like, oh my gosh, Alexandra, what are you talking about? And especially if you're a Christian, if you're from a Christian perspective or Christian belief. So I definitely want to address that because I am Christian and I definitely want to, let's just talk about it. So in Christian doctrine, God is often understood as the creator of everything, visible and invisible. So that's taken from a quote here. For some Christians, the possibility of multiple universes doesn't contradict this belief because they believe in God and God could have created not just one universe, but an infinite number of universes. The multi-universe could simply expand and scope God's creative power. In this view, God's sovereignty extends over all possible universes, not just the one that we're in right now. Let's see. The Bible does not explicitly address or the concept of multi-universes, interpretations of passages. Like in Genesis, it says, Genesis 1, which describes God creating the heavens and earth, have traditionally focused on singular universe we inhabit. However, some argue that the idea of heavens could be broader, leaving room for interpretation that allow for multi-universe without contradicting biblical narrative. For many Christians, and this, I'm going to leave this up to you, this could be placed in an idea that it's just a mystery that can coexist with faith. All right. When we talk about, so I'm going to leave that up to you to do your own research and do your own beliefs, but I definitely wanted to address that as a Christian. So when it comes to closing the gap of a multi-universe, right, let's talk about the idea that time is a man-made concept. The only thing that's happening right now is when you think like this is happening right now, like this is what we're in right now. 5 minutes ago felt like right now, and it felt the same. 10 minutes from now is going to feel like right now, and it's going to feel the same. So like the past is a memory. The future hasn't happened, but in fact, it's going to happen. And it's something that is continuing to just like feel the same, if that makes sense. So you can decide how you want to change the new reality and how you want to map out a different version of yourself. Because back to manifestation is your thoughts and realities and your words and your vibrations of basically putting that out there and then receiving that back. Again, you want to have a clear picture of something it is you want. Maybe maybe it's becoming a wife. Maybe it's becoming a mommy. Maybe it's a specific position in your career. Maybe it's attending a university. But regardless, so when that was something that you wanted in your life, when you thought about it, like you put yourself in that mindset. So like I can remember I really wanted to go to University of Arizona and I went there, but I didn't get in as a freshman. I had to transfer. And so I can remember thinking like, oh, it'd be so much fun to go to the football games. And I would like map out in my mind, like my Wildcat gear and like the sorority house and have so much fun. So I was already planning that version of myself. Does that make sense? When we're talking about the quantum leap or the rapid manifestation, we're just talking about inner knowing and this inner frequency that is vibing at the same rate of the version of the person you want to become. So that college kid was a very different vibe, was a very different energy, was a very different level of confidence, was a very different level than the person that hadn't gotten in yet. Does that make sense? And so it's the new version of yourself at a higher frequency when you step in. And so you want to step in and you want to sync with that. So let me just kind of dive in. I realize I've said a lot and you might be a little confused. So what we want to do to rapidly manifest, number one, or like basically collapse time or quantum leap, is ensure that the energetic blocks are clear. So I talk about this in a ton of episodes. We have blocks that we're not even aware of. So in order to understand what our energetic blocks are, we need to understand what's popping up in our mind. And this, our subconscious is created from age 0 to 7. And these subconscious blocks may not always be true. Like it's not true for everybody. And it's a truth that you decide it's true. So we need to ensure that our energetic blocks are clear. Our subconscious is almost like a completely other person, and it's just deciding what is right for you and what's not right for you. So you almost want to like take those collections of stories and realize, like, was this someone that's helping me? So is this story that I have where the next person I want to become, like, let's say I want to make 100 grand. Does that version do these stories make sense for the person that wants to make 100 grand? When you think about these energetic blocks, your body will begin to tell you a story, and your body will get like, ooh, that doesn't feel good to me. Like, ooh, making 100 grand feels super uncomfortable. I don't know if I can do this. And you go, okay, so that's an energetic block. That's how you know you have a block. So there might be certain words, certain things that you say. You're like, yeah, consciously I want to make 100 grand. That sounds great. Subconsciously, it's like, no, I don't think that's really who you are. You're not really going to get there. That's not what you want to become, right? So that's when you know you have an energetic block. You're going to want to work on removing those blocks. I talk about that in other episodes. Then you want to get your self-worth. So we're not only manifesting like an outcome of like, hey, I want to make 100 grand, or I want a BMW or whatever. You're manifesting a self-worth. So our worthiness is a belief system. So you believe you're only worthy of something. So back when I was shopping for a car, I didn't believe I was worthy of that BMW 650. At some point, I believed I was worthy. At some point, I believed that it was okay for me to have it. And so it showed up, right? Let's talk about self-worth a little bit more too, because we're our hardest critic. We're moms. When we see our baby, when we see that beautiful baby, it's handed to us. I'm gonna have one handed to me soon. We don't look at that baby and go, oh, well, you're not worth a BMW, or you don't look at like, you're born whole, right? You as the mother are like, this baby is absolutely deserving of everything that he or she wants. Like, this baby is totally whole. It's as we go through life, we chip away at ourselves. We create the belief system. We create the subconscious that gives us an idea of what we should or shouldn't have. So once we've realized that, then we want to go into rewiring our self-worth. So we want to rewire these beliefs. We want to kind of go backwards. We want to like reverse engineer. So we look at the belief system. We look at our thoughts. We look at our emotional reactions. And then your thoughts become your actions and words. So when we reverse engineer it, and start with the words, because like I might say a word to you, I might say like money. Money might trigger you, like the word money, right? That might be like, that doesn't make me feel good. So I can't actually start manifesting more money if when I hear the word money, I go into this like heightened state. So we got to reverse engineer, and it's almost like you have to go through a divorce of like these beliefs in order to start restacking them, in order to rewire the neural networks in our life. So this is something I work on in my signature course. We go super, super deep into these beliefs and rewiring and how do we rewiring and how they show up. But right now I want to talk about, if this feels like super aligned with you, I do have a free tapping video that's going to tap into one of the biggest limiting beliefs that I see. It's I wasn't born with money, so I'll never be rich. And that's something that I see pop up with a lot of people. So I do have it below if that's something you want to, if you're like, yeah, Alexandra, I want to start calming my nervous system. I want to start manifesting more money. So again, let's go back to rapidly manifestation, or let's go back to quantum leap or rapid manifestation. You want to act as if, but not necessarily focus on the thing. So for example, I want to manifest a house. I want to manifest 7 figures. Your RAS, which I get into that, I'll get into that in a whole time, but your RAS, it's going to distort and delete and generalize everything that comes in to match your current belief system. So again, your brain says, okay, yeah, I want to manifest 100K, but you only have 3K. Like, I want to manifest 100K by BMW, but you only have 3K in your bank account, Alexandra. That's never going to happen, right? So you want to act as if, but not focus on the thing. So you want to focus on your experiences. You want to focus on how does it feel. You want to focus on your energy around it. You want to focus on your habits. You want to focus on less about the attachment, but more about releasing control and focusing on the outcome that you want to have. Whenever you're able to think like I'm capable of having this, is when it's going to show up. When you think I'm unworthy of this is when the abundance in your life starts to diminish. So I hope this has helped with kind of like understanding time collapse, understanding multi-universes, understanding that you are already manifesting and don't even know it. So number one, I'm just going to revisit this. Number one, we want to ensure that your energetic blocks are clear. Number two, we want to work on your self-worth. And number three, we want to rewire the self-worth to wholeness and fulfillment so that you're completely full. And when you start visualizing yourself as that person, that's when that reaction happens. That's when that manifestation happens. That's when it collapses. That's when you like time collapse and start acting as if you are that other version, acting as if you are a mother, acting as if you are a 7-figure business earner, acting as if you are driving a BMW or whatever that is. Anyways, like I said, I do have a tapping course. I do have a tapping course. I do have a free tapping video. I will have it linked below. It has changed my life. I tap daily. I also tap my son daily to help him sleep, to help him calm his nervous system. If it's something that's new to you, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And I have it linked for you below. All right. See you in the next video. Hey there. Okay, don't go away. I have a free gift for you. So if you are like me when you started manifestation and you're like, what is the best way for me personally to go about manifesting my dreams, my goals, and things like that? So I created a free quiz that will help you determine your manifestor type, okay? And here's the best part about it, is this free resource will give specific manifestation practice tools for you that you can start using every single day. And plus, there's a bonus, is you get 30 days worth of journal prompts for your specific manifestation type. So I have it for you below. Go check it out. It's free. The quiz is fun. It's in the description. Go take your quiz.